welcome back, guys, and hope that you're having a great day. Even if you're not, then I hope that this podcast can cheer you up a little bit. So last week's episode, we were ending with a topic of submission, and I know that many of you may have some sort of ideas about it already. I hope that the podcast help you to build up the concept that you already have and also learn more about God's truth. What does he say about being submissive? Okay, now we can end the intro here because I just want to make a quick introduction. In 3, 2, 1.
Yes or no, right?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Why? Why yes and why no?
Yes, because in the beginning she did what the eunuch told her to do, but later on, when Mordecai came to her and told her she need to do this, she didn't say yes immediately. So she wasn't that submissive.
She need to seek God first, rather than obey. Of course, she obeyed Mordecai and Haggai and the king, but the important in her, she know what the purpose. She enter the king to be a queen.
Yeah.
And then she had a right purpose behind that. So I believe that she always seek God and ask God for permission. Everything she do, yeah.
Like submission isn't just like obey anyone telling you something. Yeah.
I would see her more as teachable
Yeah.
because she was taught by Mordecai not to disclose your race.
Yeah.
You're taught by the eunuch. You go there, you ask the king for this. So she was very teachable. But submissiveness is another level. You teach me and I have the heart of submitting. Whether you are there or not there, I will still obey. So I'm not very sure about submission, but I think that she was a very teachable lady. That's why Mordecai really took on her, and the king also took on her.
I see.
And not only the king, because the king has his council, and after she went into the king, everyone was happy with her.
Yes.
So I think there were other people looking into her and seeing if she is acceptable too.
So in terms of personality and the whole countenance, besides beauty, she definitely have a personality that attract people. But spirituality side, we are not very sure.
So yes, one male audience asked, because when it comes to Esther and like woman, in the New Testament, there's a bit of controversial topic about women being submissive to their husband. And what do you think about it? So just your first impression first.
Good for both of you.
Yeah, because these two are getting
Next week topic.
Yeah.
I think about when we talk about Esther, I think that she somehow, yes, submissive, but also she is wise. It's not submissive in the case that blindly follow whatever she's told, but she, like Auntie said, like teachable. So like she can absorb what they said, and then she at least think about it. We don't know like if she actually spiritually look for God, seek for God. But we know that okay, at least she consider. She just don't blindly follow it. So I think submissive, but also we need wisdom as well. So
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know how it become that in a marriage, the word submission become a dirty word. And it shouldn't be, because we submit not only to our husband, right? We submit to our leader, we submit to God, we submit to each other. So it should be a very normal thing in our life, and I think we need to define to like what is submission.
Thanks to all the feminism fighting for this word of submission.
So what does it mean to submit?
I think submit is more about like respect. Like in that sense means we willing to listen, and we give them certain respect. That's how I normally view that word.
So where is this respect come from? Respect come from your decision to consider what we learn in Philippines, to consider the person as important to you. No, if I say I want to listen to what you say, respect you, you must be someone that I choose to respect. So it's a decision that we want to make, that in the spouse relationship, the person is important, the person is highly valued, or Philippines say, I consider him more than myself.
But does submissive also mean that you have to make compromise? So it's to not just your spouse, but to the person that you are disagreeing with? Does being submissive also mean that you have to make compromise?
Yeah, I think for the marriage that God also in the Bible also said that we need to submit to our husband, and because like I'm sure that if God asked like that, and our husband must submit to God first. He's a godly man. He's not like any kind of man in the world, not only man, but I mean for somehow in the family, he the one like the head of the house. He in control in terms of spiritual life, to lead the wife, the family go the right way, walk with God. It's not somehow he say something like, or he did something wrong in God's sight, and then we obey. But if something like he go to the wrong track with Christ, we the one need to stand firm, to help him and to pray for him and go back to God, because the two person will be stay strong, and if another one weak, we will be strong. Yeah.
You complement each
Yeah.
other.
And I think that the meaning of submission, that because we know that who he submit to is our God, and we look at him, how he live a life that to help the family, the wife, the children to grow in spiritual life with God. That's the right way to submit. Yeah.
Then what is the opposite of being submissive? Like aggressive? What behaviors would you consider like, oh, this is not being submissive, this is too aggressive? Yeah. It's not following godly standards.
Another question I would like to add to that is, what if the husband doesn't take the leading
Yeah.
role?
Yeah.
Is it okay
What is
for the wife to do
leadership?
that?
Right? What does it mean to have godly leadership?
Yeah, that's true. What Lana said, that I also experienced some couples. I saw that from that family, and the man like step back, just not take a role of the man leading the family. Yeah, so the woman must stay strong.
Yeah.
So in that situation, how can you remain submissive
Yeah,
to a husband that is not as stable in spirituality than you? So we still need to submit.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So
That's
how
a
to go
great
about?
question.
Is there any way for us to like encourage leadership from our partner?
Definitely, you have to constantly facilitate leadership. But if the person still refuses to take on the leadership, you still have to submit.
Yeah,
I think it's important to always keep in mind that even that person doesn't take, our husband doesn't take the leadership, it's our duty to submissive. And I think that's the first thing that we always need to keep in mind, because there will be the chance where we see that person doesn't take the leadership, and then we started to wander, and then we started to somehow take over that position. So I think the first thing is we need to keep in mind that and pay certain respect for that person, for our husband, and I guess just keep praying for that person, and encourage.
So from the
man.
way we talk, I assume that submission is putting yourself as second position.
Yeah.
Because we talk about submitting to someone, the person that I submit to must be a leader in my life. How? Not necessary, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Not
Not
necessary.
necessary.
So if your spouse refuse to take the leadership spiritually. Now we talk about spiritually, which most of us concern the most. So is submission and spirituality, how do you view them together? Is when my husband more spiritual, I submit more willingly. I'm more committed to submit to this leadership.
Yeah.
Or not necessary if we understand the word submission in the biblical context. Of course, there's the ideal. Because when we submit, if you are more easier for women to submit when we see your life more convincing, more wisdom, more willing to submit. But if it's not, how do we manage this?
Is it possible when, like, if we see our man is let's say during their up and down and they're in their, let's say, valleys, so is it okay if, like, women, we step back a bit, step in front of them and, like, we kind of take the leadership for a while to somehow support them and encourage them and then later pull them back?
Right.
Yeah.
You are not
That's the right
stepping
way.
over his leadership, but still recognizing that he's a leader, but at the moment this leader is not taking the authority. But if he give you the permission, spiritual side, to lead, like lead family prayer, lead family study, lead the children to go to church, no, but he's not stopping you, but he himself refused to go, that you go with the kids doesn't mean you're not submissive. Because ultimately our submission is to God. So if our husband are not submitting to God, that doesn't mean that I have to submit to my husband, so I also disobey God. No. So we must know who is submit, but also not because spiritually we are so righteous that we tell our husband, you're not submitting, sorry, I cannot submit to you, I have to submit to God as my higher authority. I don't think so. We still respect, we still consider the feeling and the situation they are in and seek their support and approval for you to take the lead. Of course, we hope it will not be too long, but sometimes it's your lifetime, and sometimes some husbands are happy with that position because they are not growing much, but they also know the goodness of having a spiritual unity in the family, and they give you that responsibility. But that doesn't mean they are giving away their leadership in many areas of life.
Today we're gonna end the episode with a Bible verse, and of course it's gonna be Ephesians 5:21. Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below to give us what you think about this episode and also the topic of submission in general. Is it hard for you or is it easy? What you've learned from this podcast? Yeah, and how can we improve it for the next time? We'll tailor to your best interest, submitting to you. I hope that this podcast is helpful to those that are enjoying their singleness and also those who are waiting and expecting their new season of life. But the time is up and we're really sad to say goodbye, but hope to see you back soon. Bye bye.